What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Chaos Theory podcast. I am your co-host, Ivan, aka Kinetik, and of course, I've got my main man, Ken, over here. We have a really great episode today. I think this particular player is going to be, has his own opinions, and he's definitely voiced them over the years. So I can't wait to get into it. Go ahead, Ken, take it away.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Chaos Theory podcast. Ivan, we missed you, bro. Welcome back.
Thank you, brother.
We are so back. All right. For everybody listening at home, thank you guys for the continued support. What I am going to request for you to do at this time, take out your notepads, grab something to write with, put your gis on, because KungFuJoe is here to take you guys through the process. All right. Now, Joe's been around the community for a very long time. He has witnessed a lot of the key moments in the Marvel 2 community and the FGC community in general. He's got a wealth of knowledge that he's going to share with us today, and we have a lot of juicy topics to go over. Joe, welcome to the podcast, bro.
Let's fucking go. What's going on, man?
Yeah. Now, I understand, but because we have a certain process that we go through, right? Like a list of topics. I understand that you wanted to get something squared away before we begin.
Yeah. Just a little housekeeping, nothing too major. So anyway, and I figured, this individual would come up eventually. So I just want to kind of brush it aside right now, just real quick.
I'd love to hear it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So last week, Trilla had a little gathering at his pad. Shout outs to Trilla, by the way, a major pillar in the community today, and he's a killer. But yeah, he was nice enough to have us out there. I went out there, mingled with everybody. Glad to see you guys and everything.
Hell yeah.
Had some drinks, and and then it's time to play. So I jump on there, and of course, like my luck has it all the time, my first opponent is Ken, and he's been sitting on the setup for about an hour at this point. I'm like,
warm. He's already warm.
Fucking great, my favorite. So I jump on there, whatever. Ken does his Ken thing, and then he takes a break, and I'm on there for at least like 3 or 4 sets maybe, and at this point it's getting kind of late. I'm getting ready to take a break, right? I just got done playing Daryl, World Machu, my boy. Shout out to that guy.
Well, for perspective, Thrilla sessions we usually roll deep. So we usually have about 15, maybe 16 guys in attendance. So we try to limit the sets on the stream setup to, I think we do first to fives?
To 5. Yeah.
Right. So I'm the wrong person to warm up with, bro.
You don't need to tell me, brother.
So then what happened? You're ready to take a break, and then what happens?
I'm getting ready to take a break or call it a night pretty soon, and this dude hops on, and I'm chilling, but this guy is giving me a kind of a weird vibe. I've never seen him before, but he's got this very like serious vibe going on, and I'm just kind of like, what's up with this dude? And at first his stick doesn't work, and he's panicking, and Trilla's like trying to pull a Frankenstein on it, and I'm like, so we sit back down, and he's got this super serious tone, like, okay. So we start playing, and I get my licks in. It starts kind of going back and forth, and I'm like, all right, this guy kind of knows what he's doing, Given I'm kind of dropping a lot of stuff too at this point, but whatever. And then he ends up beating me like 5-3, something like that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of not really satisfied yet, because I was trying to just stick to MSP just for the fuck of it. It was just kind of like a self goal that I try to do if I'm just playing casually or whatever. And I'm like, I think I could probably do better if I just switched it up and tried something different. So I was like, it's my last set of the night. Let me ask these guys if it's okay if I go to 7. Like, we're not resetting it. We're just taking it from here and going to 7. He's already up. I'm like, hey, can we go to 7? And Trilla's like, fuck yeah, like, run it. Go.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Just go to 7.
Not a big deal. Cool. I pick like Team Scrub on him, and he's like struggling, and I managed to catch up, but he's already ahead, and props to him. Whatever, he gets the win. He gets the 7 before I do. Scores like 7-6, 7-5, something like that. It's really close. I get up, and I dab him up. I'm like, hey, good games, whatever. I get up, and then I hear he like stands up and spreads his arms out and he's like, oh, I beat him even though he tried to counter me. And I'm like, wait, what? You know, I'm kind of a different person now that I've had kids and stuff. So just kind of a little disclaimer to my friends and family who might be listening. This is not who Daddy is all the time. You know, this is just my competitive persona. I've calmed down a lot, but something about this comment just kind of really got under my skin. And I turned around.
I think he said you can't counterpick MSP2.
I don't know what he said.
Yeah.
It was like, it was kind of loud in there, hard to hear. And
right.
All I heard really clearly was counterpick. And I'm just kind of like, what? I'm like, bro. And so when I heard MSP2, I didn't hear the 2 part. I thought he was trying to say I was countering him with MSP.
Right.
So I kind of misunderstood him. But the comment was still uncalled for either way, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm like, dude, that's like one of my main teams, if not my main team. Like if I go up against somebody who I never fought before, that's going to be like my default that I go to.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate here, Joey, because I played you years ago on American like Moss Stick at Alex's Arcade, and I beat your MSP.
Okay.
And then you did end up going to Scrub. And so I can say that, yes, that is absolutely, you're not counterpicking, that's just your other team, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I've known you do pick that. It's not like you were trying to counterpick, it's just your second team that you go to.
Yeah. It's kind of like one of the other developments I had to make as a player as time went on is to, in my opinion, everyone's different, right? Like everyone can have one strength, like Pasadena is really super sick at rushing you down or whatever.
Right.
Ken's super sick at rushing you down.
Right.
And they can just use that against everything.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not that proficient in that area.
That particular area.
But proficient enough. But I
Right.
figure like to fill my gaps, I need to be able to take on different styles. I need to balance myself with like a yin and a yang, defense and offense. Right?
Totally understandable.
It's just kind of like whatever, dude. Like if you have a problem with that, that's kind of like a brand new dude problem, right? Like I'm not used to dudes complaining about things like counterpicking and stuff. We're all big boys here. We've been around for a while.
That's right.
And it is what it is, bro. It's either you deal with it
or
you fucking drown, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I had to learn early on as a young player. But anyway, whatever. This comment got under my skin and I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to fucking counter. Like, you're not that fucking special. Like, you're all like, whatever. You did your thing. I just kind of thought he was going to be an adult and just whatever, humbly just sit down, keep playing. But no, he had to get up and say something. And I'm like, this guy must know who I am, but I have no idea who the fuck he is. So it's like he's trying to get his 15 minutes right now of some kind. And I'm just kind of like, all right, dude, like you trust me, you're not anything special. I'm not worried about you. If I wanted to take you seriously, I would. And he's just like, oh, well, you could have, but you didn't or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, whatever, dude. And so I'm chilling and, you know, Koo Mighty's comes up to me, shout out to Koo, and he's like, hey, man, I want to put a little money on you. You want to run it? I'm like, fuck yeah, fucking do it. And Trilla, the same thing, comes up to me. And he's like, hey, you guys want to run a set right now? Like, it'd be good for the stream, good for the community, all that stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, whatever, run it. Go let them know. They go up first. Koo goes up to him. Instantly, this dude's shaking his head. No, I don't want to. Trilla goes up to him. He's trying to plead with him. He's like, "Hey, dude, be good for the stream. Good for the community, blah blah blah." Right?
Yeah,
it's his house, and he's just he knows I'm good for it. I already said yeah. Right. And he goes and this dude, I couldn't fucking believe it. He's like, I don't want to play him because he's gonna like run with Cable all day. That I swear I couldn't believe the words coming out of his mouth, but I'm looking at his lips, and the lips are matching the words, and I'm like. What a fucking loser. What a fucking pathetic loser this guy is, dude.
Just for context, we're talking about Jay Fresh, right?
Jay Farts, Jay Stank, whatever you want to call yourself, dude. I don't know who the
Just
fuck you are.
for context, all right, Jay Fresh and his cousin Lil Spawn, they were a brief part of the scene back in 2007, 2008, before disappearing completely. You know, real life stuff happened. For whatever reason, they chose to stop playing, being part of the community. Back then, they were sort of a duo, and it was them two versus me and Carlos Infern. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember that guy.
I do.
But it was always a 2-on-2 thing. It was me and Jay Fresh squaring off, and then Lil Spawn and Carlos going at it. And we kind of had a brief rivalry. Jay Fresh had a lot of. He had execution going for him, a little bit of speed. His Sentinel was on its way to becoming decent, and then he just dropped off the face of the earth. This was back when we kind of all, I was a victim of this mentality of favoring the rushdown and seeing a defensive strategy as kind of scrubbish,
Right?
Like up
Same
back,
here.
Oh man, you're such an East Coast style player. Like that's what we would
Gave
say.
it no credit.
So the way that I see it is now that Jay Fresh is back on the scene, it's kind of like he was frozen in ice. And then,
definitely.
And then it thawed, and he's back in, but the mentality is still there. You know what I mean?
Like Austin Powers or what?
Kind of like Austin Powers, yeah. He came in and he sees you switch from MSP to Scrub, and he's thinking, oh man, like I hate this style. Like I still hate this style, and I still see it as, taking the easy way out, I guess. But it's not like that. Like, I know it's not like that. He'll come around, I'm sure.
Listen, the dude better, get updated, because not only is this an optical error, this is also a strategic error, and he doesn't know it yet, but you're in over your head, buddy. You just haven't been through the type of trial by fire that I have. If we go into a money match or whatever, like win or lose, I'm fucking free rolling, dude. I go back to my family, whatever. Life goes on. I'm in a whole different stage. If you lose, I don't know. This seems to be pretty big to you, so you might be living with it for a while.
Jesus
so
Christ.
You're going up against a guy who's pretty much like a samurai, not afraid of death.
Can
And I got a ton of fucking experience under my belt. I don't crack under pressure.
Let him know, Joey.
So I don't know, dude. I don't know. This might not hit you now, but when you sit down next to me, you might feel this like a bucket of ice water come down over you, and you're gonna realize that combos you could do in your sleep you're now dropping, and you're gonna see that people aren't gonna put any money on you, and it's all gonna compile like a big fat snowball effect. So good luck to you, buddy. If I see you around, I hope you're more brave than you were at Trilla's, because the next day I noticed, Ken, you made a post saying, hey, this money match needs to happen. And I'm like, this dude's he's not going to reply. He didn't want the fucking smoke last night. Why is he going to change his mind now?
That's a good point.
But now he's getting exposed in public. And now you have to address this. And you go ahead and you're putting on this big bravado. My friend is sending me, like, you're popping off in Pasadena's chat saying,
like low key, like behind the scenes.
You're cashing checks. You're writing checks your ass can't catch.
That's the thing about Twitch, huh? Is that you never know who's watching or who's lurking, and it'll just come right back to you.
It's all gonna come right back to you.
If you could set the terms, Joe, for a money match with Jay Fresh, what would the ideal terms be? How would you want this match to go down?
Team lock or no team lock?
No.
I'm totally kidding.
Dude, whatever. If it happens, it's not like a super priority or anything. Just kind of like, if I see you, I see you. But,
what sounds reasonable to you? Like
at least a first to 10.
First to 10?
I don't really care. I don't really care to throw any big amount at me. I'm sure there'll be plenty of like side bets and stuff like that.
I'm trying to think about it. Would you say first to 7 for 50 with a run back? Is that reasonable?
I would go at least 7's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm just used to usually going to 10,
To 10?
but
First to 10 for 50?
at least, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
At least. And then, run back optional kind of for the loser.
Like a run back clause or something?
It could be, yeah.
That's very important nowadays.
It is. And I realized, Neo's very lawyer-like when he does his money matches and stuff. And I'm like, oh, you could learn from this guy. You gotta cover your ass when you make these agreements. So, yeah, typically, either the run back has to be within a reasonable amount of time. I would say, like
same night.
Either same night, or I would say whenever the loser wants it, it could be within the same night, or you could, next time you see you, whatever it is.
Well, there you have it, boys. Jay Fresh versus Joey Bal. KungFuJoe coming soon to a session near you.
Yeah, good luck to you, new guy.
All right, shifting gears. Now that we got that out of the way, Joe, there's a lot of things, bro, that we can talk about. These next few hours are gonna fly right by. I want to hear about how you got started, because you've been around for a while. You've seen a lot of arcades. You've seen a lot of players come and go, right? I'm interested to hear how you got started, because if I'm not mistaken, you also have siblings who are who have their own history with the FGC. You guys kind of grew up together playing fighting games.
That's right. My younger brother Sprockter, he is currently the greatest Jin player on the planet. Somebody please come take this guy down, because I'm tired of hearing it. And he's also the color edit mode champ of CVS2. CVS2, the OG version on Dreamcast, had this cool color edit mode. He made the best ones.
Nice.
And he's also doing the Restore MVC2, the Bangus art.
That's right. He has restored a lot of great pieces. Shout outs to Sprockter,
yeah,
man.
Shout outs to Sprockter, definitely. I think he's almost done with the whole cast, or he's closer to done than he is, beginning. But yeah.
Yeah, he's actually made some color edits for that particular art. He made some neon, like black and green ones for myself.
He made one for you, yep.
Amazing.
KungMighty, I think, too. Some stick art that KungMighty wanted. So if you guys want touched up art or anything like that, hit up Sprockter or David Bal in the Facebook group.
Hell yeah. Yep. What was your first experience like with Marvel 2? Where did you get started?
So I got started in a little town called or little city, Southgate, California. And when I got here from Hawaii, my brother David had already been here, and he knew all the little stomping grounds. He had his own little stomping grounds to go to. And so where we used to go to kill time and waste our allowance was a little place called Legion Comics. And it was, a little comic book shop, and it had arcades in it. Had at least like 4 different cabinets.
Nice.
Always had like Marvel vs. Capcom 1, a Neo Geo arcade, I think, like a King of Fighters, Street Fighter, a different Street Fighter machine, the original Street Fighter 3, something like that,
When you say Neo Geo, are you talking about one of those like 3-in-1?
Yes, 4-in-1.
Bubble Bobble.
It's got Bubble Bobble, Metal Slug, the soccer game.
Metal Slug.
Yeah.
I used to hate those cabinets.
Yeah, the Fatal Fury,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Samurai Showdown.
So this was your first experience with just fighting games in general?
No, actually in Hawaii, I was already there's an arcade out there called Fun Factory, a little chain of arcades.
Wow.
And back in the day, when me and my brother were kids, we used to go to Fun Factory, and they had these 2 giant machines next to each other that were their main attraction, which was Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 2. And those games always had a line of teenagers behind it. And me and my brother were just kids, so we're just like, oh, we can't play these guys, but we're watching it, and it's the coolest shit ever, right? So we always liked fighting games. We used to play Street Fighter 2 against each other, like in the laundromat or whatever. And me and my brother always kind of had like a little bit of a sibling rivalry, sort of like a friendly sibling rivalry, like whether it was like checkers, basketball, whatever the fuck, like we'd play each other in it. And fighting games was the natural next evolution, so we loved fighting games. And when I got here from Hawaii, he showed me Legion Comics. And if you wanted, we didn't get much of an allowance, so the way you stretch that shit out is you get good at fighting games and you make your quarter last.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it, man.
Yep. So yeah, Legion Comics is actually where we kind of all met up and put together our crew. A lot of OG heads out there might remember the name Azer. We call him AZ for short, but he's a tall, skinny, black Cuban guy. He used to run some game events at UC Irvine when he was going there. But Azer was the one who showed me the light of Marvel 2, because when we first got Marvel 2 at Legion Comics, I remember the night it was pulled in and plugged into the wall.
Wow.
I had no idea that this game was coming out. Not everybody had the internet back then. I don't even think I had a home computer at this point.
Right.
I was using the internet at the library, So this game I'm like, whoa, we'd been playing Marvel 1 for years, and here's Marvel 2, just got wheeled into the comic book shop, and they're turning it on, and I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, immediately
powers
what
up the
hits you.
game.
Yeah.
Put some free credits in there for the kids to test it out or whatever. And I'm seeing the character select screen and there's question marks around the edges. And I'm like, oh shit, you got to unlock more characters. How many characters are in this thing? I play for a little bit, and then I run home and tell my brother about it. And we're like, oh shit, well, we can't go check it out now because the comic book shop's closed. We're going to have to go the next day. Next day we go there. There's a big crowd of kids around this machine. And my friend Steve-O, who used to work at the comic book shop, he's a big, tall guy. He's on the machine. He already has fighting game knowledge. He knows the Magic series and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shit that I don't know. I'm just kind of more of a fan of fighting games at the moment, just trying to get good. But I don't know shit about the advanced tactics, or even stuff like Magic series, rolling out of, I didn't know you could roll out of certain combos, where they trip you, stuff like that, right? He already has a knowledge of this game because he knows how to do Magic series and Marvel 1 and stuff like that. So he's on there and he's whooping kids' asses. Dudes are just lining up and just getting beat by him.
This guy's what, 18, 19?
Yeah.
Beating on kids?
I'm 17 at the time.
Oh.
And I guess he's, we're very close in age, and he's beating on, junior high kids, other high school kids, it's pretty brutal, right? And the game is, I think, 75 cents or 50 cents to play at the time. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's
this
steep,
guy
man.
knew, he's somewhat of a savvy business owner, I guess, because he knows it's a brand new, fresh game, and that you will pay 75 cents.
My God.
But in a way that kind of helped us, because the more credits you put in on the arcade version, the faster that unlocks the characters. So in a way, it kind of helped, but it hurt our pockets. But it helped us be one of the arcades that was kind of ahead of everybody at unlocking all the characters. So Steve-O and Azer, they got knowledge on this game already. I fucking hated it in the beginning, actually. Within the first couple of weeks, the meta at the comic book shop is fucking boring. It's like Guile, Cable, and Akuma or something like that. And it's a bunch of Runaway and the same old down roundhouse into Sonic Hurricane combo. And I'm just like, this game's fucking boring. They reduced it from 6 buttons to 4. There's 2 assists. This is some baby, whatever, dude. I hate this game. I'd go back to playing Power Stone or whatever. That was my favorite game at the time.
Well, the same thing could have been said. Well, the same thing was said about Marvel 3 when it came out. Remember, we thought, oh, this is easy mode. Now, when you do a knockdown, you have all day to just relaunch the character and continue the combo. Do you feel like that's how people saw Marvel 2 as they made the transition from Marvel 1?
For sure. I think in the beginning, we hated all kinds of stuff about the game, like the music being one of them. I think Maximilian put out a video recently talking about just this type of thing, that I wasn't alone, that there were other players who just
hated
They hated the game at
Yep.
first, right?
Yep.
They had to see the rabbit hole like I did in order to like see the light of this game. So this is where Azer played a big part in getting me involved in this game. So he had a computer and the internet at his house, and he invites me over. He's like, "Hey Joe, come by. I'll show you, like, this game is the shit right now. Trust me. I'll show you." So I go over to his house. He's got videos from the East Coast of Justin Wong. He's playing in like the grand finals of some tournament. He's using Magneto Cable Cami at the time.
Yeah, classic.
And he's like kicking ass and he's making it look cool. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know you could rush down and just like oppress people like that with Magneto or whatever. Like, that's pretty badass. And then he puts on like this combo video. He's like, all right, Joe, I set this video to download 4 hours ago. It should be done now.
Oh my goodness.
And it's like a 2-minute video or something.
144p.
Like, he's got this torrent on his, 56K modem. Like,
Running dial up to get this thing.
And we're watching, it's like a Mikyosuke video.
Mike Yusasui.
Yeah, like one of those. And I'm like, holy shit, you can do this kind of shit? Like, they're these big ass combos, and it's like all this elaborate setups with the assist, and I'm like, wow, this shit is fucking fire. So I'm like, oh, you can do infinites too? Like, they don't get to play the game if you hit them? Like, fuck yeah, this shit is fucking awesome. Let's fucking go. Show me the light, AZ. Like, bring Azer, bring me into I'm down. So I'm all in. I love the game. And we start kind of putting together a little crew, right? Like, it naturally starts forming together. There's like Azer and Steve-O, of course, myself, my brother, our friend Danny, Hatred. He's a Strider Doom player.
Okay.
We had a pretty diverse team of
Nice.
like different styles,
Well, before we continue,
Yeah.
what characters were you messing with in the beginning?
So in the beginning, I always liked Psylocke because I saw somebody do like the triple jump combo, and I was
I
like,
saw
"Oh, that
too.
shit's fucking fire!"
Oh,
I
that's
wanna do
nice.
that. Yeah, that's nice. And I'm like, all right, so I like that character. I always liked Storm too. I
Okay.
feel like that was probably my best character. I always liked Storm. She seemed super like versatile, and it seemed like nobody else was really picking her, at least in my little circle at the time. Like, nobody was using. I felt like everybody was sleeping on this character.
Yeah.
Like, this is a good fucking character.
I think that most people were just used to the traditional Magic series launch into Knockdown, and Storm kind of has an odd timing. If you're trying to play her in a traditional sense, I guess coming from Marvel 1.
Yeah.
But you already knew, hey, there's something there.
Yeah, she's got like these air dash combos and stuff like that. She can rush down. She could run away. She's pretty versatile. I see the potential there, and I'm thinking like, dude, you guys are kind of stupid for not picking this character.
You dumbasses.
Pretty good. Like,
So when this crew starts to get formed, what characters are you picking now?
so by the time the crew is formed, I become more of like a Blackheart player. My first
No way, dude.
Yeah, dude. My first tournament team is Blackheart Storm Commando.
What?
Yes. This is my first tournament team, like series team because Blackheart was really fucking lame and really easy to use. And I'm just like, well, I'm going to my first tournament. I got to get good now. So this character's pretty fucking easy, and he's annoying. And like, so fuck yeah, I'm just going to, jump around, throw monsters, and chip you to death. And then Storm's going to come in, and we're going to do more of the same. And that I'm just going to play fucking lame, and safe.
How did you incorporate Commando into your team, and why did you pick Commando? Like, how did you discover him, I guess? Because
he went well with Blackheart. So we started venturing out. A lot of us were young kids at the time, like fresh out of high school or whatever. We didn't have a lot of money. A lot of us didn't have like a car. But we knew about golf and stuff in Downey. And it actually had a pretty good like little crew of players. there was like this dude Mega Manny and his brothers were like these. They're like the three little pigs. Like they're all the same size, like these three little dudes, and they all like knew how to play the game pretty well. And one of their visitors who used to go a lot was this player named Jose Garcia. Jose Garcia was really fucking sick at the game. He was like one of the original like SoCal MSPs. This guy was.
I think I remember seeing his name somewhere.
He beat Sanford when Sanford came down here. There was a big Southern Hills Golfland tournament.
Yeah, I might have seen it on like Zach D or something.
And Sanford was like, okay, I'm going to come in, swoop in, and like take this big SoCal tournament. And Jose Garcia gatekeeps him and says, no, you're going to third place. Me and Combo Fiend are going first and second.
Oh, shit.
Just sticks out his hand? No,
Yeah.
No.
Stop. Like Neo with the bullets. Like, nope. Not here. Not in here.
Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Not up in here.
That's the that's also the same tournament that the Stankford Kelly story comes from. So this guy named Jaha, they're complaining about the way he smelled. I guess he was, playing very passionately and kind of sweating a lot. And so there's this fountain at Southern Hills Golfland. This guy Jaha is like, this pretty jacked like Marine dude, picks up Sanford and throws him in the fountain.
Oh, no way,
turns the water
dude.
brown. Yeah, this is like a legendary story.
No,
Yes.
he picked him up and he threw him into the water.
This is the story as I heard it. I wasn't there at the time, but it was circulating through the threads at SRK.
Oh my God,
crazy.
folks!
People were telling the story about Jaha throwing Sanford in a fountain. Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, Jaha. He's been juiced since I can remember. I remember one time we were at Arcade World in Montebello, and Speed Racer showed up to run some games with us, with me and Carlos. I don't know who else, but he was still. I guess he had just came back from PT or something like that, so he was still wearing his Marine uniform, except for the hat. He had his. He always wears a Volcom hat. So he had his hat on with his Marine uniform. Jaha shows up, I guess, with some other guys, and immediately called him out on it and said, "Hey, you can't mix. You need to take that shit off. You can't mix civilian clothing with your uniform. Come on, man. You should know better."
Disrespectful.
Yeah, and I mean, me, I don't know anything about that, but I took it as
it makes sense though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's always kind of had a very serious demeanor. But picking somebody up and tossing them into the fountain?
Any OG heads who are listening to this story, if you can confirm, if you were there and you can confirm whether or not this happened, because this is the story as I heard it for a long time.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Oh, yeah. So the way we discovered these places, though, one day this guy walks into Legion Comics. I get a job at Legion Comics as a 17-year-old. My first job.
Nice.
I need to support my Marvel 2 habit now.
All right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I'm there. This dude walks in, and he's got this this typical like this super serious like Paisa look at the time. Like they would wear their baseball caps like kind of hovering on top of their head almost. I'm just like, who the fuck is this guy? He starts playing Marvel 2, and he's like pretty good. He's beating like some of the other people there. I start chopping it up with him, and I was like, okay, this guy seems kind of cool, and playing with him or whatever. And this is the guy we now know as Tong G. Tony G.
Good old Tony G, baby.
This is how he looked when we first met him. He changed up his style like shortly after because we kind of clowned on him for it. And he'll deny that he ever dressed like this, but I swear to you, we all know it's true, Tony. You can't deny it. This is who you are. Anyway, so Tong G was kind of older than us, and he had the car. He had a car. And we, he linked up with us, and he's like, oh, you fuckers want to go to another spot or whatever? And we're like, yeah, we're like crewed up. We got Azer with all the tech. He's delivering the tech to us from his computer, basically. So now we got things under our belt like the Tempest combo Air Hyper Viper Beam
Nice.
×3, the Iron Man Infinite, Annoying Blackheart, the Gambit glitch. Like we got all these
Damn.
kind of like techs that are brand new at the time.
Tricks
like,
of the trade.
this is all like whatever now, but this is some serious weaponry back in 2000, 2001.
That's what I was going to ask is what timestamp can you put on this? So what year are we in?
So we're in the year 2000 going to 2001.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
This is right when the game is
Yes. Brand new.
brand new.
Brand new, dude.
And all this tech is already out.
All this tech is coming out.
Oh, it's coming out.
It's coming out, right? So it's brand new. Like Alex Valle is the first one to play Strider Doom, and Clockwork kind of like picked it up and just improvised it and made it better. But you know, Duck Doe was the one who came up with MSP. You know, he was the first one doing Tempest combos on people, and nobody knew how to mash out of it, and that was winning him a lot of matches, right? Like people may not remember this stuff, but tech was being discovered, and if you didn't have the internet or you didn't have a crew that was like discovering it, you know, this is an arms race.
Yeah, exactly. If we
totally
take
true.
it back to even before the internet was prominent, like the early 90s when Mortal Kombat came out, everything was word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Zach D, there was no YouTube.
Nope.
If you wanted to learn how to do
YouTube.
something, I mean, if you're the person next to you was nice enough, they'd share their knowledge.
Yeah.
But if they want to make their quarter last, they'd say, "Nah, figure it out. You
Yep.
have questions? Figure it out just like I did, buddy."
Oh, we were such assholes, dude. We were such assholes. Like the way we abused this power was just made us so giddy. Like with, so this is like what we were doing. This was some good fucking times because there was no fucking GPS and shit either. We had to figure it out. So luckily, Big Steve-O was like a living map. This guy knew every highway, freeway, and bus route in the city to get
Nice.
anywhere. So everybody's playing an important role, right? Like AZ's got the tech, Tongji's driving, Big Steve-O knows how to get everywhere. We're basically getting a map, and we start marking off arcades. And we're like, we're going to hit this place, we're going to hit this place, and we're going to hit this place. We're going to dethrone all these motherfuckers, you know? Like this
Holy
is like,
shit.
This
The
is what,
raid.
yeah, this is like what we're now in full-blown raid mode. We got you know, Azer, Steve-O, myself, my brother, Tongji, the homie Eric, the homie Combo Fiend Ivan. He only played Combo Fiend. Danny.
I'm sorry, that's just weird.
Yeah, he only played Team Combo Fiend.
Nobody calls it Combo Fiend.
Well, we
Ivan.
just call him. We just called him Ivan, but you know, there's a couple other Ivans in the scene
Yeah,
right here, like
right.
yourself and.
We're just going to deduce your
We're just
identity
gonna- yeah.
to the team you play.
Yes. Yes. Daniel Hatred was a Strider Doom player. My brother, of course, used Jin like since day one. So yeah, we went out there and we would go to an arcade and we would like fuck with people. Like we'd go up there, get the life lead, and then do the gambit glitch and just step away from the machine and watch them them and their friends are like, what the fuck? What's going on? They're like shaking the machine. They're trying to okay, I'm going to pick commando assist this time and do the same thing. They're trying to call commando to get,
Doesn't work.
it doesn't work. They're bewildered. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
For the people that are listening at home, Joe, for those that are new to the game, can you explain what the gambit glitch is?
Yes.
And what it does?
So the gambit glitch is he has this move called Cajun Strike, I believe, and it's charge down and then up with kick. The gambit glitch, I don't know who found out about it or whatever, but basically it was like you have to do a snapback with assist 2, I believe, and
Yeah.
charge the Cajun Strike, do it like up to the right of the screen, and he goes Cajun Strike, and he flies up off the screen, and his sprite essentially like no longer exists, and the match
Basically, he jumps off the screen and he doesn't come back down.
the match is not ending until the time goes to 0.
Right. So what Joe's saying is, though they'd get the life lead, they do just enough damage to where they can execute this glitch and then it's time over. They just wait for the clock to run out, and it's a free win.
Yep. You do the glitch, walk away, get your soda, eat a few chips. Just kind of chill until your next match,
And this is why the TOs, the tournament organizers, will say the Gambit glitch is not allowed for tournament.
Exactly. Yeah.
No game breaking glitches, right?
Don't do this in your tournament, boys and girls.
So here's my question. My question is: you guys are a full squad that roll up to these arcades.
Team Southgate. Yeah.
Did you guys have any pushback? Any homebodies that kind of gave you like dirty looks, kind of bad interactions? Because there's a lot of tribalism that goes on between arcades.
Of course. So back in the day, it's kind of like we had a bunch of different spots we would go to. There were like a lot of different multiple arcades in HP. We didn't really go to the underground. That was more of like where the scrubs went, and the equipment wasn't very maintained. So if you went to the underground, you were a scrub. J Fresh.
Wow.
Anyway, there was like a Nickel City in Huntington Park.
Oh yeah,
that one was pretty good. There was like Montebello Mall. There was an Aladdin's Castle in Lakewood Mall, I believe. So what would typically happen is there's always a group of guys on the machine, and they see us all roll up. We all walk in as we all roll up to the Marvel 2
Janko jeans,
South
Pole jorts.
We got football jerseys, like we're rolling deep in the car, and Tongji's blasting like Linkin Park. And
oh my God. Summer days just sitting around when the sun goes down.
You're ready to party.
And dude, so we all roll up, and they see us, and they're just like, oh shit, these guys are here to play. One of us jumps on the machine, whether it be like myself, Tongji, Azer, whoever. They either do, we do some tech on them, like the America's favorite DHC with Storm Sentinel, or Viper Beam ×3, landing the Iron Man Infinite on them or something, and they're like, oh fuck, and a couple of them will leave. They'll grab the guy with like the cell phone or whatever, and they go outside, and they're calling for reinforcements.
The one guy with a cell phone. Hey,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
I know it's not 9 o'clock yet, all right? I know you're going to have to burn some minutes, but I need you to call somebody.
2001, mind you, like we got, not everybody's got a cell phone at this point.
That's right.
Some dudes, if you're lucky, you got a flippy phone, So they go out there, they got to call like the boss character of the mall arcade or whoever it is, like
the final boss.
Yeah, they got to go call their final boss. So then their final boss or whatever guys would roll up, and it's time to go to war there. So like we fight back and forth but we got all the tech, it's like they only got what they've learned amongst themselves.
And do you remember what kind of tech they had, if any, or what kind
Very
of teams
basic.
that they were picking?
Yeah, very basic. They just kind of were gravitating towards the characters that looked cool at the time or whatever. So it's like Guile was really trendy, or like Hayato,
right?
Spider-Man, Strider. There was this guy playing like Spider-Man, Strider Commando or something like that. They're all kind of very basic teams. Some are very like a lot more Street Fighter characters. There's like some Jill in there, because a lot of people aren't rolling out of these combos where you're doing like slide kick, pick them back up, and then air combo. Like,
right.
It's very rudimentary. It's like they know Magic Series. They know how to do like team-based combos and DHCs, and that's about it. They don't know kind of like infinites. One of them, their boss character, will roll up, and he knows how to do Air Hyper Viper Beam ×3.
Okay.
That's their ace in the hole, like, or he knows how to do, Blackheart, jump around and do high kick.
We need more power.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned the guy using Strider Spider-Man Commando, because there was a guy that would come to the Montebello Mall every so often, and that's the team that he picked. He was kind of a Hispanic dude, kind of curly hair.
Yeah, I think that's the guy.
And that's where I got my idea to start picking, doing the combos with Spider-Man and Strider, where you knock him down into his teleport kick.
Yeah.
because he would do that all the time, and he would pick Commando.
Right.
I wonder if it's the same guy.
It might be, because this was the Montebello Mall. If I
What a
remember
small
correctly.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a
there's not
small
too many
world,
people.
bro.
There's not too many people that pick that cat,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty
There's-
sure it's the same guy we're
What
talking
what
about.
what I'm thinking is, when you guys roll up and you start smashing these people at the arcades, it kind of serves multiple purposes, in my opinion. I feel like, number one, it's cementing your status in the rankings as far as community
Yeah.
goes. Number two, it's to let these guys know, hey, there's levels to this, and
Right.
we might not even be close to scratching the surface of what we can do in this game. I wonder, man, I wonder where they went after that.
So it's like we leave them, and they got this impression of like, oh shit, there's more out there.
Yeah.
So when we come back, of course, things change a little bit. They start changing their team structures a little bit. They start to update, because they know we're going to be back. You know, they have to be ready, and
Yeah.
to be ready, they have to adopt some of the tech that we're like raining down upon them.
Exploiting on him.
Yeah, well, Joe Zaza had mentioned that that traveling from arcade to arcade was one of the most beneficial things that you could do as a competitor. Expose yourself to different styles, to different gameplay,
Absolutely.
and exchange critique. I mean, if you guys had that channel open to talk to whoever was there, you might have somebody ask you, "Hey, man, what am I doing wrong here? I noticed that you do this, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
Or you could be an asshole and be like, "I don't know, man." I mean,
Yeah.
like I tell people, you just got to practice, bro.
Speaking of assholes, you know, our team kind of came, like, it was a rough start. Like, so, you know, like the first time we ride with Tong Ji, we go to golf and stuff. He's like, "Oh, you fuckers want to go? All right, let's go." He was driving like this old car at the time. And I remember we were rolling so deep that we pull up to the parking lot, and there's like a little dip that goes up from the street onto the parking lot. And his car can't get over this dip because we're too heavy in it.
Oh shit!
He's like, "Oh, you fuckers are too fucking heavy. You guys got to get off or something." So a couple of us had to get off the car just so we could get into the parking lot.
Oh shit.
You know, later on he updated the car to it was like a Jeep Cherokee, and that fit us all like comfortably. We used to call it the Canyonero because it could fit us.
Because of
all.
the Simpsons.
Yeah, yeah, Canyonero. So we go to golf and stuff, and we're playing and shit, and we're there a couple hours, and we're like, "Hey, where'd Tong Ji go?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let's look for him. I think it's time to bounce." So it's like we're looking for Tong Ji. Like, oh shit, I can't find him. We go out to the parking lot. His car is fucking gone. This motherfucker gave us all a ride from Legion Comics to golf and stuff, and then he dips without saying shit.
Why?
I don't because he's a fucking asshole. I don't fucking know. This guy just fucking. He didn't. Oh, probably because we were making fun of the way he used to wear his hat, like a chunti. But anyway.
Oh my god!
So he got us back, and whatever. Good shit, Tong. GG, you know. Anyway.
How'd you guys get home?
So we're like panicking for a while. Like, fuck. What the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, we spent all our money in the arcade. Like, we don't have bus. Like, there's a bus going by. We don't have fucking bus fare. So we're there, like, trying to weigh our options for a good, like, 20 minutes. Like, and finally, our friend Eric, this fucking asshole we brought with us, he's like, well, I guess we could use my work tokens. And he pulls out this giant bag of bus tokens. Like, we're like, you motherfucker, we could have been on a bus already. And your ass is sitting there stingy with your giant
Emergency
fucking,
stash.
No, it was like his work tokens, but he's got like he's got like $25 worth of,
Wow.
you know, coins in his pocket, and it only costs like $1.25 to ride the bus at the you know, one token
Yeah.
each. Come on, dude. You serious right now? So it's like we're surrounded by assholes in the beginning. It's a rough start. But eventually, he's just kind of like, we see Tong Ji at Legion Comics again, and we're like, "Hey, motherfucker, what the fuck? You fucking ditched us there." He's like, "Oh, I couldn't find you, motherfuckers." Like,
Go.
lying
Okay.
motherfucker, you liar. So whatever. He got his back, whatever. And so from then on, we were crewed up, and we were going to different spots. We were going to, like, you know, Santa Monica Pier had an arcade.
Jesus Christ.
UCLA had an arcade with a Marvel 2 machine. Like, there's so many places that had a Marvel 2 machine. It's like, you know, comparatively at the time, I was I fucking sucked compared to the big names that were, making a name for themselves in the scene. But yet at the same time, I was a bully to so many people. So it's kind of like, I was having fun. It's kind of like,
Do you mean like as a competitor or
just as a competitor?
Okay.
Just because there were so many more competitors. It was such a huge pool of people because this game caught fire as soon as it hit the ground, and every arcade has it, and everybody's playing it.
Yeah.
There's a frenzy around this game.
Absolutely.
So of course there's the levels are so deep and so many layers, right? So yeah, I'm getting blown out by the best, but I'm still a bully to a ton of other players. Like I could go to a bunch of other arcades and just like dominate these guys because they don't have the more advanced tech that's coming down the pipeline through Azer through to the rest of us. We're all practicing it against each other. We're doing what a functioning crew should do at the time.
It sounds like you guys had it figured out in the beginning.
Yeah.
When can you recall when you guys hit a wall? Like, okay, we found the competition that's better than us.
Oh, absolutely. So, Jose Garcia, as I said before, he was playing at Golf and Stuff, but that wasn't his main stomping ground. His main stomping ground was this HP arcade, and this arcade in Huntington Park next to a theater. That was the hardest level that we had discovered yet. These guys are super solid. They were mostly turtle players. This is the age of the game where the main tech at the time, it's the game's meta is going through like what I call the trap phase. So people are doing stuff like, the spiral swords trap. There's the trap that people, it's not like a true trap, but people just didn't have it figured out at the time. Where you got Doom, Blackheart Commando, something like that. You get blown across the screen by Commando. Doom jumps and does like butter gun and the pillar assist with Blackheart, and then he super jumps in the air. As soon as he super jumps, Blackheart comes out and throws the pillar, and you throw photon shot. You get to the ground, rinse and repeat. Butter gun, Blackheart assist, jump in the air, photon shot, shot. That was like a legit trap back then. Or like, Team Watts. Mike Watson was playing the game. He had Sentinel Blackheart Commando. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like mouth blast, drones, pillar assist, like all this keep away, runaway storm, team scrub, like cable traps, very trappy. Sure. Like that's the dominant meta of the game at the time. Like Magneto is not the lethal threat that he is today yet. There's some Iron Man in there, but Iron Man has to work really hard to get in on these teams.
If I'm not mistaken, Iceman was in there too.
Iceman was in the original meta because Cable was in the original meta.
And it was sort of like a counter to that.
Yeah, they discovered that, okay, beam assist, beams don't do any kind of chip damage to Iceman.
Yeah.
So you could put together, and Iceman's beam assist did a shitload of chip damage and has a ton of priority because it's like 7 hits or something like that.
Right.
So Iceman is in the meta at the time.
Right.
Usually with some kind of Doctor Doom based team.
Were there any tournaments that you were participating in back then in the early 2000s?
So my first tournament, I forgot what mall it was, but it was this big tournament. It was covered by, there was this magazine, this game magazine that the back section used to post tournaments.
Shit.
Fuck,
Which one was that?
Remember.
It's not Game Informer for sure. Game Winners?
I'm failing. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name.
Brain fart, tips and tricks.
Yeah, tips and tricks, I think. It was something like that. And in the back of it is like they post rankings for the fighting games, the big fighting games that are happening. So the grand finals of this particular tournament was Sue Mighty versus Combo Fiend, I remember.
It's a big one.
And Sue was using Magneto Cable Psylocke at the time, not MSP yet. And I forgot which version of an Iron Man team. I think it was MIP for Combo Fiend at the time. Magneto, Iron Man, Psylocke.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, he wasn't yet Team Fiend. I think he
Okay.
was using MIP.
I see.
MIP was a pretty popular Iron Man team because you could just get hit by Psylocke and boom, you're in the infinite.
It still is today, man.
Yeah.
The Philippines will tell you.
Yeah, the Philippines they kept that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, HP Arcade was our really solid. That was where we started kind of training, and then we linked up. Azer linked up with a player named Junior B.
Oh yeah.
And Junior B was pretty good. He was pretty like hungry, young type of player, and we trained with him a little bit. And we went to this tournament, the one I'm talking about. And I remember I was so disappointed because I won my first match, and then I was like, dude, I got to go use the bathroom, but this arcade doesn't have a bathroom. I got to walk to the other end of the mall to go use the bathroom. So I go do that. I come back, and Azer's like, hey, dude, where were you? You just got DQ'd. I'm like, oh, motherfucker, dude.
Oh, that sucks.
I was so pissed.
You were gone for like, what, 5 minutes?
I had to walk across the whole fucking
Oh, I
mall,
see, yeah.
so it kind of took a little longer than I had thought, but,
Fucking horrible,
that
dude.
shit's fucking sucked. But, yeah, Azer used to run the Apex system for HP. HP had a weekly tournament. Apex was Shoryuken.com's point system that they made up to see who were kind of like the top 8, the top dogs in SoCal or whatever region.
Dude, a weekly tournament?
There was a weekly tournament
Holy
every
shit.
Sunday, I believe. Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine if we had a weekly tournament now?
Yeah, dude.
I'm getting exhausted just thinking about it.
There was at Southern Hills Golfland. So, after we crewed up, this place was legendary. Azer came to us and he said, if you guys really want to get good, if you really want to see what the top level looks like, we got to go to Southern Hills Golfland. This place at the time is like the Shaolin Temple of all fighting games. I go to Southern Hills Golfland for the first time. You walk in, there's this loud DDR machine blasting right out the door, blah. Right around the corner from it is the big showcase Marvel 2 cabinet. Above it, they have a CRT kind of with the display because the crowd would get so large. The only way you could see the screen is to look up at the CRT.
Nice.
And Duck's playing. I don't know if I think he's using like Team Scrub, or his other alternate team that he would use sometimes against Magneto players was like Spiral Cable Commando. And he was playing some version of that team. I see him there. I already know who he is because we were paying attention to tournaments. Like he's the B4 champion or the B5 champion, I think it was B4. Yeah. B5. I think that's when Justin came first, when they first fought, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're correct.
But, yeah. So they're playing, all the big names are playing on the big machine. There are 2 more cabinets. It's like 3 or 4 cabinets total. Further down you go, the scrubbier it gets.
Nice.
So it's kind of like
the deeper you go, the worse it gets.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, you just kind of grab a spot wherever you can. There's tons of quarters on every machine. And then every other major fighting game at the time has at least 1 cabinet. But you're seeing like the creme de la creme of anything. Like I was curious at the time, like, oh, what do the best KOF players look like? I go to the KOF machine. I'm like, oh, wow, these guys are fucking
killers.
amazing. Yeah.
Emo haircuts, pierced ears.
No, I remember there was this particular like really good KOF player. He was this old black man with like gray hair, and my friend was really pretty good at KOF, and he always would show up to golf and stuff knowing he was going to face this guy because this guy was like a staple there.
Holy shit.
And he would just laugh. He was so good at the game. He would laugh when he would beat my friend. My friend's shaking his head like this, and he's like, like I just hit you with that, like, so, and then there was like, oh, I like Third Strike too. Third Strike's a pretty cool game. Let me see what that looks like. And these guys are fucking pairing each other's shit and doing all these fucked up setups on each other. I'm like, whoa, I'm exposed to not just like the high tech of Marvel 2, but everything. Everything's cranked up to 11 there.
Probably saw the first like Gin engine.
saw the first like paint the wall with the first Jin, the first like paint the wall with and Bison on Civ ES2 when you do the A groove combo on you.
Oh my god!
The paint the fence, paint the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was all sick, dude. So and then the tournaments, they had like a weekly tournament which was like on Wednesday or Thursday or something in the evenings or afternoons. And then once a month or something like that, they would have a big tournament on Saturdays. And the tournament, you got, not like today, you show up in the morning. So, one of their biggest tournaments, I remember, it was a huge deal. That's where I first saw like Harry Potter and his friend Justice. His name was Chun-Li's pimp at the time. Yeah. His friend Justice was Potter and Chun-Li's pimp. I remember I showed up to a tournament. It was like a big deal. And some of these dudes legit dressed up like Harry Potter had his like Hogwarts University like gown on. And Chun-Li's pimp has this pimp hat with this giant feather sticking out. It was like a spectacle, dude. This shit was hilarious.
People are like cosplaying out here.
Yeah, no, it was like a big fucking deal, like, and people were having a lot of fun with it,
That's crazy.
Around this time, did you switch up your teams? Are you still using Blackheart, or are you picking something else?
I start kind of going more towards, I really want to be an Iron Man player, but Iron Man's like hard to play with, so I'm trying different Iron Man teams. I can't yet. I have these different mental blocks at the time. One of them is like, okay, Magneto's always been my brother's character, so I'm not going to use Magneto,
But Sproctor was picking Magneto, Doom, Doom,
yeah.
I mean, not really utilizing him to his full potential.
Well, the thing is, like, so we've played everything from like Marvel superheroes on up to this game, right? And Magneto's always been like my brother's character. I would pick Iron Man if I could pick him, or if not, I would pick like, I forgot who else I used in the other games, but yeah, it's like Magneto was always my brother's character.
I see.
So
out of respect, yeah.
Out of respect or whatever, or just like a mental block was like, I'm Iron Man, he's Magneto.
I see.
And my other mental block was like, I hated Cable. I was like,
really?
Kind of the same thing you were talking about, like, oh, this up back style. Like, I have no respect for like Cable players. They're scrubby, whatever. Tong Ji plays Cable. He's like the best of us at the time. Him and Azer are kind of like the best of us, and he's getting the better of me because I just have this mental block against Cable, dude. I fucking hate Cable. Like, eventually I evolve out of it, right? And that's when the roles start to switch a little bit. These guys, Dave and Tong Ji, they'll swear that it's the other way around, but hey, look, all we got at the end of the day is our word against each other's kind of thing.
Yeah.
But hey, if you want to sit down and run it, we can go back in time, like, no problem, right? If you guys are better than me, like ordained by God or whatever, then it should still be the same. The outcomes should still be the same, right? So sit down with me and run it if that's what you have to say. Anyway,
Tony had, just to cut in real quick, when I first met Tony, it was at the Montebello Mall, and I was still trying to figure things out, and he would come in and pick like Cable, Silver Samurai, something else, and he would just destroy my Magneto teams to the point where I would just I'd get so frustrated.
Yeah.
And then one time I beat his Silver Samurai team and I popped off or something like that. And I was like, yes, you know me. I'm like, yes. Oh. And he goes, come on, man. It's just Silver Samurai. Come on.
Oh,
and
classic. Yeah.
And I thought, God damn, he's right. Like I should be mauling this Silver, but he had it just enough defensive tactics to just get through it. I mean, if you play him on Xbox Live, he picks Mega Man, BB
he'll
Hood.
troll the fuck out of you. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's taking down top tier teams with just defensive fundamentals.
Tong Ji's no joke, dude. Like, I may talk a lot of shit to him and whatever. That's our little rivalry and shit. But I'm playing like, on the real though, it's like 95% of Xbox Live is not fucking with Tong Ji. Back in the day when Tong Ji was active, a lot of people weren't fucking with Tong Ji. He was like up there on the Apex ratings for Marvel 2 and CVS 2. Like,
Oh, he plays that game too?
He does.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He plays the fucking annoying turtle fucking style in that game too. And you use Blanco, which is like the fucking
Top tier.
top fucking tier, like whatever. And he was up there on the Apex rating. So Tong G's not a fucking joke.
That son of a gun, bro.
Yeah. When he retired, what he really means is he just migrated to Xbox Live. But and he switched to pad. He's a pad player now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is. Which is I kind of like did this another thing with if he wants to claim he's better than me or whatever. Another kind of mental handicap or something that I did for no fucking reason now that I look back on it is when he switched to pad, I was like, oh, it's not fair to do like Tempest combos on him. And now I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking, bro? Hell nah.
You think he's going to cut you the same break?
Fuck no. Like, look here. Fuck, you're already comfortable being a pad, like, no hate on pad players, but fuck you, bro. You get to sit back in your chair all comfortable while I got to sit up and, like, get back pains after a while from sit. Fuck you. There's got to be a trade-off here. You're going to get fucking Tempest grabbed. And now that I know it's possible that you can mash out of it, oh, no mercy, bro. It's time. You better just get good, right? Just get good. That's all you got to do. Like, so no holds barred now.
Speaking of getting good, there's a point in time, right, in your history where eventually you made the transition over to RFC, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's what I remember. When I first saw you at Regency, and I want to say it was like 2009 or so, 2008, 2009, the crew that you mentioned, they weren't with you at this point.
No.
So something happened along the way where you guys just kind of went your separate ways,
Kind of splintered off.
or
man.
what happened there?
We kind of splintered off, like one by one, little by little. Life started getting busy for some of these guys. Azer was taking school really seriously. He's in a really good place now.
Nice.
I'm proud of him. My brother started, going to school. I took a break too. When I started going to college and stuff like that, I kind of like took a big break. We all kind of splintered off a little bit and getting other interests. Like my friends, some of my other friends that I mentioned, they kind of opened their own card shop, so they're running like their own little business.
Nice.
At the time. Yeah. So it was cool. It's like, but I was kind of resentful. It was just I was still kind of young and immature. And I didn't want to lose what we had because it was so much fun for me. It was so much fun just getting like crewed up on the weekends and hitting these different spots and like, dominating people and like testing your might in a hard tournament or something like that. It's a blast. It was like a ride I didn't want to get off of.
Yeah.
But
one day it just has to end.
Life just kind of happens sometimes for everybody. And I just didn't accept it at first. I just didn't want to accept that these guys are meeting different challenges and paths in life or having different interests and stuff like that. And, it just kind of left me high and dry in a way. Tong G stuck to it in a way. For a while, it was just kind of like me and Tong G. Sometimes, Combo Fiend Ivan and like Hatred's younger brother, Atom Bomb. He's like a close friend of mine. We kind of like took him under our wing, and he was slowly learning the game too. And protege, kind of, yeah. He taught me how to play Halo 2. I tried to teach him how to play Marvel. So we taught each other a bit. So we would just kind of roll occasionally and just go to hit up Regency or FFA. That was really once. Where it really kind of marks the splintering off is after Southern Hills Golfland closes down. Evo, the very first Evo happens at UCLA. I remember going there. I still have my badge, actually.
Nice.
From 2002. And I remember the grand finals, I think it was Nestor versus Justin Wong. We recorded the whole thing. I remember we saw the 5-on-5 USA versus Team Japan third strike match.
Oh, that was a big one.
And USA got bodied hard. And I was like, holy shit. Yun was my character. When I saw the Yun player do these crazy fucking Jin combos, I'm like,
yeah,
that's my shit, bro. I'm fucking definitely learning this game, and I'm learning this super art because I was using a different super art. I'm like, I'm using this one. This one's fucking God mode. So love that. That Evo was a great experience. And shortly after that Evo, Southern Hills Golfland closes, and the community in SoCal is kind of like homeless a little bit. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out where's our new home, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is it Regency? Is it FFA? You know, these two locations are pretty far from each other. So what ends up happening is the groups start kind of forming. Either you're kind of, you know, and the smaller arcades one by one are kind of dropping like flies also, because home consoles like the Dreamcast and PS2 are now kind of obliterating, you know, great for us, but kind of obliterating arcades especially if you're mostly built on fighting games.
It was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Because of the home. Did you own the game at home?
No, we didn't. So we did not have. So here's the thing. This is the other crucial part of like the team is our friend Eric was the one who had the Dreamcast, you know, at his house. So we'd all go to Eric's house and play there and train up there, you know, where we didn't have, it was either Legion Comics where we had to spend money, or if we could all gather up at Eric's, we would do that, you know, and
dude.
we had to, I didn't have a stick at the time. I was a pad player. I had to learn how to play on pad. So eventually my brother's best friend at the time, Rob, builds kind of these homemade sticks, these homemade parts. I pay him like $100, $150, something like that. And
Damn.
I finally, around maybe 04, 05, something like that, I have my own joystick that I could finally play on Dreamcast with. I'm like, it's a big upgrade, you know? It's like, you really need that because I need to translate from pad over to sticks when you go to play in tournaments and in arcades. So it's like, you got to have a stick. But
now,
again,
when you said homemade, you mean just the case itself?
the case is put together and with stock, you know, buttons and sticks kind of.
Okay, but I mean, it's like American.
Yeah, it's an American.
Like an Octo.
It's American style stick.
Okay, got it.
It's got like the convex buttons and
Got
stuff.
it.
Like
Yeah.
So it was sweet. I was like, oh, you
Dude.
know, like.
But when you mentioned that Southern Hills Golfland closed down, I'm thinking about what your thought process must have been, because you have a routine, right? The crew gets together. You guys all suit up. You have a plan. We're gonna go to this arcade. We're gonna play this. We're gonna do that. It closes down, and then your buddy Eric no longer holds these sessions, I guess you could say.
Yeah, not as much. Yeah, he starts getting into the other interests.
Dude.
He's one of the guys involved in the card shop at
Yeah.
the time. So yeah, he starts doing that with my other buddies. So it all starts shutting down. Other than, you know, we finally get a Dreamcast at my house, but you know, nobody really to play with except for like Tong Ji.
Yeah.
Tong Ji and sometimes like Kamufi and Ivan will come over. And then, so I'm like, okay, I need to branch out. Like I still want to keep this going a little bit. I'm still having fun with it. So I need to kind of like meet new people or whatever. So my friend Enrique Kinetik, he introduces me to Fat Toy, his brother Fern Boy, and Melvin, Melworks, we call them at the time.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was a Strider Doom player when I first
Yeah.
he's a Thrax player now, but he was a Strider Doom player when I first meet Melworks.
That's why you guys call them Melworks.
Call him Melworks. Yeah. Black Juan started calling him Melworks.
Shout outs to Melvin, dude.
That's what Fat Toy called him, Melworks. And when I re-linked up, it was weird. Like, you know, after Fat Toy links up with Potter and Bill, you know, so for a little while, it's like I'm playing with Fat Toy, Fern Boy, Tong Ji is still in there a little bit, Potter, Bill, and their homie Jalbert, Pigadukin. And you know, that's kind of who I'm hanging out with at the time, until kind of like 07-ish, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of fall apart. I think Fat Toy moves. He used to live in Cudahy. He was like right next to me in South.
Yeah, that's right.
He moves far away. So it's like we still visit each other once in a while, but he moves far away. But we're still kind of holding sessions once in a while because when I'm going to college, I meet back up with Julius Jackson, aka Dumbass Combo. He was like one of the best Iron Man players at the time. Is Iron Man, War Machine, Doctor Doom.
Yeah, that's the one.
He was always involved in the Apex tournaments in HP. So what the HP tournaments turned into was Team Run versus Team HP. Team Combo Fiend and Team Run used to go to these weeklies and battle against Jose Garcia and the other guys. And it was always usually like Combo Fiend versus Jose Garcia in the grand finals. And these guys would go back and forth. Like these battles were so epic, dude.
That's sick.
What happened to Jose Garcia?
Jose Garcia, he became a family man, I think.
Damn.
He became a business owner, and then he got married and had a family, and he just kind of settled down and just fell off the game completely.
That's crazy.
He was super good, dude. He was really fucking good. He would get a lot of first place placements in tournaments, and even at the biggest ones, he would at least snatch like top 2 sometimes. He was very well known.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
MSP, he showed us how dangerous MSP could be. Him and Sue Mighty, they were the only game in town as far as like MSP at the time. The rest of us were just scrubs trying to imitate them,
The off-brand versions.
Off-brand, yeah. We were like the store brand version.
Great value, baby.
Yeah.
What was RFC like when you first started going there? Because now we're shifting to 2008, 2009.
Yeah. So like RFC was there right after Southern Hills closes down. We migrate over there and we start holding events at RFC, which is pretty good. It's a pretty good arcade back in the early 2000s. They got pretty good cabinets. They're taking good care of their shit. They have multiple, like 3 or Marvel 2 cabs at the time, I believe. One of my favorite memories is me, Fernboy, and Julius Jackson got second place at a team tournament there. We got eliminated by David Lee's team.
What? At Regency?
At Regency.
Wow.
The grand finals was our team versus David Lee's team. I forgot who was teamed up with David Lee, but they were a good. David Lee was super good.
Yeah, he was.
Dude.
Yeah.
He was a killer. He had beat Team Run's team, to get to grand finals. We had 8 loss to somebody, so we had to win double the set or whatever. And we were holding our own, but they're set again ahead of us, so it's hard to make up that against David Lee and the squad. He's if you're squatting up freely, you're gonna pick the best dudes you can get your hands on. I forgot who was on there at the time. Maybe it was like Ken I or something like that.
No clue.
No. Oh, Sex Taro. You never heard of that guy? The sexiest man alive. OG heads will know who Sex Taro.
God damn.
Is.
I've never heard of these guys.
Oh yeah. This guy looked like Norimanu, that secret.
Oh my god, from Marvel Super Heroes Street Fighter.
Oh my
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
Oh no, go ahead.
It's been there, but I disappeared for a while after going to college, and my college had they had a game room, a shit fucking Marvel 2 machine, but the Third Strike machine was great.
Nice.
That was the main attraction. So I started getting really big into Third Strike, and on the weekdays, Regency had like a weekly Third Strike tournament. So that's when I started going back to Regency, and I was mostly playing Third Strike at the time, but I always loved Marvel. I always wanted to play Marvel, and it always had, this hardcore group of Marvel players there. So I'd always put my quarter up and wait my turn. I'd play both games while I'm there. You have to, because there's a big fucking line for both games, right? You got to kill your time best you can.
Yeah, you got to watch your quarters too, bro.
Yeah, you sure do. You sure fucking do.
The memory that I have of meeting you for the first time at Regency was...
Let's see if it matches my memory.
What I remember is we played, and then I played somebody else, and I did a long sentinel combo, because back then I didn't care to do launch, like jab, rocket punch in the corner. If I had unfly, I would just go for the long unfly combo. And I remember hearing you in the background. You were talking to somebody, and you're saying
Tong G probably.
and you were saying like, yeah, like I don't need to do all those hits. All I need to do is launch.
We were both
rocket
hating on
punch.
you, kind of. We were like, "Oh, Yipes Junior or whatever." Like,
But Yipes wasn't
No,
even doing
no,
on fight.
Baby Yipes. No, you weren't doing that. It was just we were talking more about like your Magneto
Oh,
and stuff.
okay,
Like,
I see,
think
yeah.
Tong G said Baby Yipes or something like that, and so we were like, okay, yeah, we always knew this dude Ken as like
Dude.
the swaggy player or whatever,
Yeah.
but we were kind of like low-key hating because he could do all this shit, but we saw it as kind of like turned our nose up at it, like it's inefficient, you know?
Yeah.
Bunch of wasted movement.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I remember playing this other guy there, and I beat him with Sonic Doom, right? Guile Charlie Doom. And I kept getting him with the Charlie grab in the corner. You know, you do the Magic
Yeah,
series,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
you OTG, and then you just go into grab.
Yeah.
I beat him, and he says, "Oh, is that what the new thing on YouTube is?" Something like that. And it was the first time that I had encountered, like, you know, people say "Okay, boomer" nowadays.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was one of those.
One of those type of jabs.
Yeah. And I thought, well, I mean, I did see it on YouTube, but
If it works, it works.
I mean, that's why it's there. YouTube became a resource.
Very valuable.
Just like when you guys had those videos that took forever to download back in
we
the
had
day.
Zach D and we had
Yeah.
Shoryuken.com. That was where we got our tech from. I
Yeah.
remember I downloaded this video. It was this 1st of 10 Sanford versus Yipes. And I remember, you know, I was wanting to learn both these teams. And I remember watching that video. I saved it on my computer. I must have watched it like over and over again, you know, just like trying to adapt everything that they were doing into my game. You know, like it was hard to do, but yeah, little things like that. People don't realize how valuable these new age tools are. Like back then we had to download these torrents, and then sometimes we'll spend a couple hours downloading this video that's fucking trash.
Yeah.
And it's
true.
like you got to find a new one. You got to download these tournament videos and analyze them, or you had to buy the Evo cassette tapes,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
The
definitely.
DVDs.
or the DVDs,
Yeah.
and fucking watch them, you know, months after the event happened. So yeah, you really had, you guys, you know, new players coming in, you guys don't know how good you have it. You guys got it pretty fucking good, I would say.
Did you have any initial rivalries with any RFC guys when you made your comeback?
So I started, it's funny how I got linked back up with them, is I started playing Marvel 3 for a while, right? Marvel 3, when it dropped, it kind of like killed off whatever was remained of the Marvel 2 community at the time. There's a few, you know, diehards who are never going to let it go, but it was kind of like that was the new game, dude. So it's like everyone kind of migrated over there. I knew I was like always going to love Marvel 2, but this is the new game and it's time to give it a chance, right? So played Marvel 3 for a while. That's when I met Big Dave, IGT, and Black Juan was hanging out with him. And so we started playing Marvel 3 together. And then I started going to their friend Xavier's house and to play Marvel 3. And I noticed in the corner, they had a little CRT and like Jtron and Ivan were still playing like Marvel 2 hardcore against each other. And I was like, oh shit, they're playing Marvel 2 here? Hell yeah. And I jump in and I start playing with those guys. You know, I had played Jtron and Ivan before, like at here and there at Regency. You know, I've seen them. I used to play all those guys like Short Term and who was the Combo Fiend player?
Dorian?
Dorian was really fucking
Yeah.
good. Finesse, you know, all those guys are really fucking good. And my first memory of you and Infrit, I remember my first money match in Marvel 2 ever, I think it was against Infrit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I think he beat me one set and I won two. And when I won the second set against him, you came up to me and you're like, "Hey bro, you want to run it too? Like, let us run it." And I'm like, "All right, bet." And so I go and get a slice of pizza and then me and Tongji leave. And I'm like, Yeah. Like,
What?
Yeah. I didn't want to play you, bro. Like, I knew you were like pretty good at the time.
I'm all sitting there getting
yeah, you're
warmed
like,
up.
yeah, no problem. I'll
Carlos
be right.
Carlos is rubbing my shoulders.
Yeah,
Like,
he's-
come on, man, you got this,
You got
bro.
this, bro. I got this hot $5 on you, man. Make it work for me, baby. Like,
I do not remember that.
yeah,
at
you were
all.
just like, you want to run it too? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And
Yeah.
then me and Tongji end up fucking just leaving. Like, I was like, whatever. I guess, we'll handle that next time. No biggie.
Blasting Evanescence on the radio on your way out.
Wake me up.
Dude, RFC had some killers back
It
then.
sure
We've
did.
talked about it a lot of times, but
yeah.
I remember
come up a lot of times.
Ricky was good for a
Dude.
while. Dexterous, he was got someone.
yeah, for our listeners, if you guys have ever seen Dexter's play like on Thrilla stream,
This is a
it
shell
is
of his former self.
nothing. And
Yeah.
and saying that it's a shell of his former self is an understatement because this guy used to be I would say tied for like second or even tied for first when he was at his best.
Yeah,
This guy was a monster.
yeah.
And I mean fundamentally speaking, right? He wasn't doing anything crazy, nothing over the top, but he had a really fast, precise MSP that
Yeah.
wasn't I mean, he would pick his spots really carefully.
And his defense is pretty good too.
Yeah, he had good blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just picked up Mortal Kombat and then it just
Oh.
what were you
Why migrate to
thinking?
the worst fucking game of them all? Like the lowest. It's got the lowest count.
Fucking turd, dude.
So I start, after a while, Marvel 3 is fucking bullshit to me, dude. Like,
Yeah.
this
I was
game-
going to
like,
ask you about this.
My experience with Marvel 2 takes me pretty far in that game. I end up getting like a couple top 8s at Wednesday night fights or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, pretty all right. But then they start doing like the Virgil X Factor bullshit and the Dark Phoenix and the fucking one touch kill your whole team with zero May Cries
May
type
Cry, yeah.
of stuff. The Morgan Doom. I'm just like, this stuff is all disgusting. Like, if I take all this time to chop your team down with my team, which was like pretty fucking low tier if I think about it, but I'm getting it in good against you. It gets down to your last like half a character and you get to activate X Factor and do this ridiculous damage comeback against my full team. Like, this is some bullshit robbery. Like, I don't even enjoy it when I'm doing it to somebody else at this point, right? So I'm
Yeah,
getting
because
sick.
it doesn't feel earned
I
at
can't
all.
take this game seriously anymore. It's
Well, they
just-
kind of went through the same route as Street Fighter 4 with the Ultra meter, right? Or initially it was called the Revenge meter, I think, where you could make a comeback
yeah.
with having the Ultra. A lot of people didn't like that. They thought that it was easy mode.
You get rewarded for being hit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I
exactly
never gave the game a shot. Like I must have bought the game like in I want to say 2015 or 2016.
So you bought it at GameStop and you like.
I bought it at GameStop. I went home. I did like the Wolverine trials, the Sentinel trials, and then a little bit of Doctor Doom. And I was like, fuck this shit, dude. The same thing with Infinite. When Infinite came out,
Oh God.
it was the same thing. Like I just couldn't connect with it.
Trash.
Yeah, I couldn't connect with
How
it.
do you make a game worse than the last one?
Yeah, and now you have all these developers that are making like
And no fucking X-Men.
no X-Men for the Infinite version. It's
It's a travesty.
yeah, that's why I'll always say that Marvel 2 is the be all end all for the 3 versus 3.
Oh, and I think everyone agrees. We're getting a great revival here with the collection
Oh,
coming
dude, I
out.
can't
Oh
wait,
yeah,
bro.
people are so
I couldn't
excited.
believe it. I'm fucking psyched, dude. Like
Yeah.
this is great. That's why I gotta say, Ken, thank you for having me on.
Oh yeah,
I
bro.
wouldn't
of
have
course.
picked a better time than now to be on here when this development's happening. 11 million pre-orders, I think,
Yes.
so far, and climbing.
It's massive.
And
man.
the game's not even out yet, and it's already at the
Right.
top of the sales charts.
Correct.
Gamers.
the word
just-
of mouth is just insane, though.
Yeah.
Like,
just gamers,
The buzz.
game enthusiasts in general are excited about this. So it's great. It's a great time.
And you know what? It's funny. It's not funny, but it's great that you mentioned that because that was my next question. Is you got your hands on Xbox Live Marvel 2,
Yeah.
right? Walk us through that experience. What was that like when? Because now, if you have a Moss stick, right, American, you can't use that for online. So what was it like migrating over to the Japanese stick?
It was Not too bad, actually. It was a little bit of an adjustment, but I had a little experience playing at the old Super Arcade, and I remember they had those head-to-head cabs, and
That's
they were
right, yeah.
Japanese too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my first experience with using those type of sticks for that game, right? So I was like, okay, not too bad. And the way the Mad Catz stick was designed was you could set your buttons to the offside 6, the last 6, and they were lined up straight. So I was
That's
like,
the ones
okay,
I
I
used.
don't need to use this Japanese style curved button arc. I could just switch over to this one, and it's like, it's a little slanted, but it's not terrible.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, not bad. I just have to play a shitload of Xbox Live, and I got used to it, and I remember the game was, hearing about the game, it's going to come out online on, Xbox and PS3. I'm like, this is going to fucking suck. This game's going to be fucking ass. It's going to fucking lag. It's going to suck, right? I get my hands on it. My friend gets it, at his house, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't half bad. If you wire up, this game's actually pretty good. I remember they patched it a little.
Right. Yeah. It required one
beginning.
patch.
One patch for the cable.
And then it was done.
Yeah.
Xbox Live was always the superior version. There's a lot of back and
Yes.
forth on this,
Absolutely.
but Xbox Live is built better because you have little to no adjustment to be made as far as the hardware goes. Like you said,
yeah.
you wire in, and your stick, if you have like a Mad Catz T or something like that, it's already built to handle the Xbox Live experience. If you use the HDMI cable, it's already built to handle that HDMI connection. Whereas with PS3, you got to jump through hoops to make that thing work.
See, and I didn't know that at the time, and I didn't, I tried both systems, and I just noticed that PS3 just seemed like subpar, just either by connection. I gave it a second chance, like during the pandemic. I remember I bought a PS3 off of
I remember,
Roundhouse.
yeah.
And, it's got a great pool of players, but what use is it if I can't express myself completely through it the way I can with Xbox Live? Like, there are so many hiccups and input drops and lag spikes, and I'm just like, ew. At this point, at this point, I had played so long and been spoiled by Xbox Live, where it's like, there's kind of like one kind of like downside to Xbox Live, which is this little bit of lag in the beginning of the game. But other than that, it runs pretty smooth, So, Xbox Live definitely was a game changer, and it helped me kind of level up a lot. And that's when I it helped me migrate over to the RFC crew a little easier, because these guys had been battle hardened at RFC while I was kind of away playing Third Strike. So it's like, and I had been taking this big break to play Marvel 3. So when I had to jump back in, it's like, now I have to run with these guys. I got to catch up to where they are, right? So, Black Juan's kind of like, oh, you got to play my man Dara. You got to play Dara.
Oh my God.
And I was like, all right, I'll play Dara. So, I started going back and forth with Dara until I'm beating Dara. I pretty much retire Dara from the game. Like, he can't mess with me anymore. I have to go up the totem pole. Sadly, Jatron moves far away. He's no longer playing with us regularly anymore.
Right.
They're still like, Ivan is next in line. Start playing Ivan. Ivan's really fucking good.
Yep.
Ivan's really fucking good. He's got, aside from like Sanford, like the best cable I've seen in a long time. Like,
I agree.
Duck's got the best overall cable. If you have to ask me, like, as far as proficiency and results, it's Duck. But the evolution of cable I give to Ivan. He's like Sanford, but a little better. Like, he could do everything Sanford can do with cable, but he's just so free flowing, and he's all over the place. There's no like patterns with him. It's hard to pin down. But anyway, I start fighting Ivan, and I'm like, all right, this guy's really good. I got to get really good at my shit. Like, I got to get really tight and not drop anything in order to beat this guy. Ivan's playing me and Ivan are grinding out against each other for a while, and eventually I start beating Ivan. I start beating him more and more consistently. Black Juan will never admit it. He'll watch me beat Ivan a set and be like, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. So and Ivan will deny it too. He'll make some kind of excuse like, oh, I was sleepy or my stick sucked or whatever. But I beat Ricky. I beat Dara, beat Ricky, beat Ivan. I start, moving myself up to the top of the, getting good within that crew. And then Black Juan's like, okay, it's time to start going out. Let's go. Oh, we're going to start going over to Alex Arcade. I'm like,
wait, hold on. Before, because this is a pivotal moment, right? Pivotal moment in your history. Is it safe to say that Xbox Live helped you patch, bridge the gap between where you felt you were lacking?
Xbox?
And where the crew was at that time, the level?
Yes.
Okay.
Xbox Live definitely helped give me the experience that I was so hungry for.
Okay.
When my crew kind of fell apart and we stopped going to arcades and stuff. I was like a young broke college student taking the bus to college or whatever. So it's like I couldn't travel to all these places. It kind of sucked. I really wanted to, but I just couldn't. So
it's kind of far though. Like
it is,
because you're still in Southgate, right?
Yeah, everything's far from me.
You're still in Southgate. Alex's arcade is in Santa Ana.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys were carpooling to go to that arcade.
Yeah.
All right. Disclaimer, guys. All right. This is one of the realest, grittiest rivalries in Marvel 2 history, and that's Joey Bal. And I'm not even saying the Joey Bal crew, but just Joey Bal himself versus Alex's arcade. You guys are going to hear it from the man himself, all right? Because I'm already laughing.
Oh my goodness.
All right, dude.
Boy.
I need to know what it was like when you walked through that door to that arcade.
So we go to Alex Arcade. I'd been there once before, a long time ago. Me and Tong Ji went there, entered a tournament. I think Tong Ji got first place. I think he beat all of them. And
Nice.
The grand finals, I think it was Andy Doom, and Andy Doom was using like some Blackheart team at the time. And Tong Ji mops the floor with Andy Doom. And we grab the bag and we leave. And that was the last time that was early 2000s, the last time I saw that place. It was called Cameron's at the time.
Oh,
Cameron's Arcade. So we come back now later, it's now called Alex Arcade. And this is like the land that time forgot. Like as far as equipment and players go. Like these dudes are frozen in time. It's like I took a time machine back to the past. I'm like, yo, what is going on here?
What do you mean?
This place existed here? Like, I didn't know these guys existed. Like, what is this place? It was like finding Skull Island and shit, Like,
like in what way?
Like, I just didn't know because these guys didn't travel. I didn't see them at any of the other tournaments and stuff. They were just like frozen in time at this little arcade. And I was just like, wow, I kind of forgot these guys existed. I knew like Daniel Deathwish, like he was there. One of the reasons this is coming up, he's making a whole lot of noise about this shit. I'm just like, calm down, dude. Okay. I'm going to clear it all up. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to go through this. So Black Juan sees that, okay, I got a new weapon in Joe. I can bet some bread on. I'm going to take him on over here. I'm like his fighting dog, Go over there. Gotta release that dog in me. And so
when you see like that meme with an X-ray, like a dog.
So we go there and they're playing on these old kind of janky arcade cabinets. I give them a try and I'm just like, oh, dude. Ugh. Like I have to wash my hands after touching these things. Like, what is going on? I had been spoiled by my own joystick for so long at this point. I'm like, I'm not playing on this shit. I'm not playing any fucking money matches on this shit, right?
It was kind of like FFA, right? Like the people that stayed at FFA, even though the sticks weren't great, they made it work because they were already used to them.
Well, I heard that they had a pretty good fixer on site for a while.
At AA or
I'm sorry, at not AA, at
FFA?
RFC.
Oh, RFC, yeah.
RFC, so it's like if something broke down, they're like, oh, Pops or whatever, get over here and like fix that shit, He was on it.
Yeah.
But, after a while, they stopped maintaining it, and that's why RFC went down.
Right.
And these guys started hang out, the RFC crew. It's more like they say they adopted me, but I feel like it's more like I adopted them. Like they were these refugees whose homeland got bombed.
Without asylum.
Without asylum. So it's like their refuge was like my garage. Like that was the new RFC. So I don't know who adopted who, but it's like, I mean.
Well, remember back then.
That's why I call Black Juan my son, So.
Well, even before, like, Thrilla is the spot right now, right? Like, Thrilla, I think it's fair to say that Thrilla's is the spot right now where he's like the host of hosts.
He's got a great setup. Makes me a little ashamed.
But we can't forget that Joe, for all of our listeners, Joe was the original Marvel 2 safe haven, or one of the spots.
Definitely.
I would call it unofficially Joe's Cabana, right? As a reference to his Hawaiian heritage.
Yeah, that's right.
But we had Ruben's bomb shelter.
Oh my god!
Right? How did you ever go to Ruben's?
Yeah, one time.
Okay. Me
and Ivan went over there and we bopped those dudes in a 2-on-2 money match, and we did the same thing. Me and Ivan teamed up for a while. We were going to Alex Arcade and doing 2v2 money matches against them. We were beating them even though they forced Ivan into a handicap. They said he couldn't pick Cable.
Oh God!
Ivan had to pick Santhrax. They were, but please, they come to us. Oh, don't beat on us. We're just poor little players. We can't beat your Cable, Ivan. It's not fair. So it's like he has to run Santhrax against them in the 2v2. I'm like, fucking Ivan, what the fuck this, bro? Why are you being so nice to these guys? This is fucking trying to get this bread real quick, like, I don't know, whatever. We'd still win regardless.
Yeah, Ruben is a whole other topic that we're probably going to have to touch up on in part 2 of the Joey Bal story.
Maybe, like Ken said at the beginning, I knew this would fly by because we're trying to compress like 24 years of history.
And you can't. The thing is that you can't. Yeah.
It's just not enough time.
We do need to go back to AA though.
Yes.
One observation, Daniel Deathwish.
Yeah.
He's the only one I think from that particular group that traveled. Like all of those guys kind of stuck to AA. Like you had Dewey at the end, who kind of jumped ship from RFC to AA.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Andy MSP. Right.
I didn't know that.
Because Dewey would go to RFC a lot.
Ah.
And then once RFC started dying down, they ended up migrating over to Santa Ana.
Gotcha.
So when you went to AA, did you? I mean, we already know how you felt about the sticks, right? Yeah. I think we can universally agree on that. Yeah. Any initial rivalries?
So I didn't really know these guys. Like I was just like, yeah, I'm here to play. Let's do it. I hear you guys all like to money match and stuff. So like, that's what we're here to do. They had one Dreamcast set up that they were playing on. So I'm like, okay, I know they must play a little Dreamcast. They're somewhat familiar with it. So Black Juan starts setting up matches. Like, okay, one by one. Now
fucking Don King over
here.
Now
look. Yeah. Now look here. I'm not the fucking a lot of stories and fables. The more they get passed around, the more grand and spectacular they start to sound. I'm not the greatest, like fucking whatever player or whatever. I didn't beat everybody from Alex Arcade, okay? But look, whether you guys want to face it or not, this is what happened. I came in there. In one day, I believe I beat like 3 players. And then in another day, I beat like another 3 or 4 players. It was kind of like, I remember I beat Kala, Akuma, Dewey, Gustavo, maybe like one other that I'm not.
Oscar?
Oh yeah, Oscar. One of the Oscars.
Which one?
The fat one.
Oh.
And sorry,
oh
the Combo Fiend player?
The thick boy. The other one. You guys.
Yeah, Oscar.
At the Combo Fiend player.
Iron Man King.
Iron Man King. Whatever.
On PSN.
Yeah, that guy. He's, he sees me wreck Gustavo, and he's like, "Damn, Joey, I don't think I want to play you anymore." We ended up playing, beat him too. I think one initial rivalry might have been Kala because he came at me with like this T-bone team, and I hadn't faced anybody who used like T-bone assist in like a fucking century. And I was like, fuck, I got to remember all over again.
Right, yeah.
How to counter this shit. Cause it's like, man, he's bopping my shit and I can't get in on him. And I'm like, okay, so I had to go rediscover whatever it was I did to counter that. I think I picked, some kind of Cyclops team or something, but I had to figure it out, come back and beat him eventually. And that's what happened, bro. I mean, I remember this one day or one night I went there in money matches total. And plus they used to gamble dice outside after the arcade would close, and I would participate in that other degeneracy with them a little bit. I remember I went home and I bought a Wii U with like the money that I had won off of Alex Arcade. I still have it. It's a prize to me. It's like super obsolete, collecting dust, but it's a trophy. It's my AA trophy, basically. That my dusty old Wii U sitting in the entertainment system there.
Wow, shout outs to AA for
and so after I beat them, their initial excuse, they never said it never happened. I have the receipts. I could pull them up if they ever want to challenge it. But their initial excuse was, "Oh, we're not used to playing on Dreamcast, whatever."
Oh, I do.
And I'm like,
that.
dude,
yeah,
this is like 2013. The scene has been primarily on Dreamcast for the better part of a decade at this point. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? The Dreamcast was at your spot. What do you mean you guys don't know how to play on Dreamcast? Like, what kind of cope is this? You're like, whatever. Like, so whether or not you want to say that, it still fucking happened. You put your money down, you sat down next to me, and you got beat. And the rest doesn't fucking matter. The rest is history. So I'm sorry if I got to bring it up every time you try to say I suck. But it's like, it is what it is, bro. I'm just, no hard feelings. I don't have any grudges against any of these guys. Daniel's making a big stink about this Death Wish, even though he wasn't there for the majority of these matches.
Right.
I don't know how he has such a big opinion on this all these years, like a decade later. All of a sudden he's got something to say about it. But it's like, Daniel, calm down, brother. We're cool, but you gotta calm down. Like, this happened. If you want me to pull receipts, I will. But
what are the names that you're missing on that list from the AA guys?
I'm trying to remember like all of the.
Have you beaten Andy Doom?
No. So I think Andy Doom and Ray were kind of like parts of that.
Right. When Ray made his comeback, Ray
was kind of in that.
I
don't know if he was claiming. I don't know if Ray was claiming to be a.
He was like an international student.
Sort of, yeah.
Temporary visa.
That's when I met. Yeah. That's when I met Ray.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's actually when I played you, Joe.
Oh yeah.
There was a tournament that was at AA.
I remember that.
And we played a Dreamcast, and it was 2 out of 3, and I knew I couldn't pick a high execution team playing on the American stick.
Okay.
And I played Santhrax against you.
No way, really?
Yeah, I couldn't because I had to play on a Moss stick.
Oh, that's right. So so that way you wouldn't have to use Magneto or Iron Man.
That's
which
correct.
we're reliant on.
Very execution heavy team.
Okay.
So I needed to rely more on fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
So I played Santhrax against Joey. It's when I first met him, and I was playing against his MSP, and I get up 1-0.
Yeah.
And then he picks MSP again. So it's now, or I'm sorry, he does not pick MSP. He adjusts and he goes to Team Scrub, which is what I was saying is like, that is his team. And I couldn't get in. I remember missing a Lightning Storm combo into DHC, but because I didn't do the half circle motion right to get the super. I missed it, and it cost me the match. But GG's to Joey. But that was the story.
We could run it back.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Joe, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up.
Sure.
There's still, for all of our listeners, guys, we've barely cracked about maybe 50% of the history here. There's still a lot to talk about. Joe, would you be willing to do a part 2?
Absolutely. If you want to have me back, I'll be glad to come
Fantastic, man. There's still a lot that we have to go through, including finishing up the AA lore, getting into your highlight money matches that you had with Ruben. I believe you played Roundhouse also.
I did that. The last money match me and Roundhouse ever played, I beat him 2-1. and that was kind of at the peak of me playing with the Regency guys. I was able to play like several times a week at a pretty high level, and that was a huge benefit to me. So I was able to take on guys like Roundhouse at the time.
That's another thing that we're going to touch up on is the era of prime Joey Bal. We're going to touch up on that. There's still a lot to go over, guys. This time flies by so fast. We appreciate you guys sticking by and listening to Joey's story and everything that we picked up from his tale regarding MVC2 and the FGC in general. Did you have anything that you wanted to say to the new community that's coming up? Because remember, the release is coming pretty soon.
Right.
What advice do you have to the new generation that's coming on board?
Ooh, man, there's so much there. But if I got to pick one thing, it's block. No, learn how to block. No, really come humble. Like, remember, you're coming into a community that is decades old, and you're going to run into some guys that are just really, it's going to seem really unfair, right? So just take it as, just try to have fun with it. You can get better, but just initially against the more, don't get discouraged, you know, because some people do make it out and become really good. Like Daryl, World Machu, he was kind of like one of those guys after 2009. I remember we had a little rivalry back in the day. I used to call him an 09er as a derogatory term, kind of.
Right. Yeah.
And but shout out to Daryl, he's the homie. But he was kind of like one of the strong sperms that like made it kind of from that pool of new players that a lot of them fell off and they don't make it to that next level. Yeah. He kind of did. So it's like, you can make it if you jump in now. And you like, you know, we got a lot of great resources. Me, myself, I kind of really want to take kind of like a big teaching role. You know, I'd be glad to, if
a mentor.
Yeah. Kind of like a mentor or like coaching, stuff like that. And that's also kind of like a bit of a maybe challenge I want to extend to you, Ken, and maybe other OG players out there, is to take a protege under your wing. Maybe a student.
Absolutely. Having that door open is a big thing. So there you have it, guys. If you need any guidance, Joey Bal, you can reach out to him. He has that open door policy. I do have some community questions that we want to go over real quick.
All right.
D4 Heartbeam from YouTube, he says, Joey Bal, do you think that the old heads will move on to the Versus collection as the definitive one to play on? And do you think we'll see them come out to local events?
Ooh, now... I actually, if I just have to get like a straight up answer, I would say yes. How do I know this? Because like people in my own circle are saying they're going to come out of retirement. So, you know,
that's kind of the hot topic, right?
Proctor's one of them.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Tong Ji. I know Azer said, Azer said he's going to come and fuck me up.
Oh my God.
Once it drops. So I'm already hearing it from my circle. A few old heads might come on back. So I'm excited.
Man. You think we'll see Fat Toy back in the mix?
Oh, that would be awesome, dude. I haven't seen him in a long time. If him and Fern Boy come back, that would be...
Run for cover.
Run for cover, dude.
I got Riley Phillips. He's got a question for you, Joey. He says, what is the key to reaching the next level in one's gameplay? Big fan of the show.
Yeah, so definitely, man, it's so important who you're training with. You know, I believe online is great. You can get a lot of great experience from it, but nothing matches kind of like the offline experience. If you really want to get on a competitive level, just, you know, having a good circle of pretty good players that can test you is great. You always want to play somebody better than you. I would say is my number one piece of advice is find somebody better than you, play them a lot, you know, be humble to them, you know, ask them for advice. Don't be a dick. Don't be a salty asshole like I was when I was an up and coming, you know, I was a salty fucking asshole and I could not accept losing. And the one thing I had to accept to get better was that I fucking sucked. And I got to look at inward, be honest with yourself, realize you fucking suck. And that's the only way you're going to get any better. You have to look at yourself honestly. play somebody who could show you your weaknesses and try to patch up those weaknesses.
That's solid advice. I feel like there's a similar saying that's applicable to, I think, all aspects of life, and that's if you're the most comfortable one in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Absolutely.
So that's very solid advice.
Yeah.
Joe, we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Do you have any shout outs, any last comments, any call outs?
Any call outs that you want to say?
It's been a long time since I had any kind of like rivalry or anything like that.
I think we already have one in the books, baby.
Anyway, that guy, yeah, I don't know about that. Anyway, but definitely shout outs to the OG Team Southgate, dude. Like, those are my boys. I started with them. I recently had like a little reunion with them. I was glad that they could all make it. Like,
nice.
Even though we're not all playing Marvel 2 with each other, we're like brothers, at this point, I'm glad. I'm always grateful for those guys. Always glad to see them and have them still in my life in some capacity. Shout outs to, of course, the Regency crew, like Black Juan, Ivan, Melvin, like Big Dave, Ricky, like all those guys kept me sharp. They brought me to that kind of little prime era that we like to joke about. I couldn't have done it without them. Shout outs to all the guys that I've played with and had money matches, rivalries. Like, things may get a little spicy and we talk shit to each other from time to time, but it's all love, baby. It's all within the game. It's my competitive spirit. And, last but not least, like, shout out to all my haters out there, all you fucking grimy, dumb, fucking below room temperature IQ, idiot, dumb motherfuckers out there who mostly, about half I believe I'm in a great place. I appreciate where I am in the community. About half of them love me. About half of them hate me. I think you're doing it just right. I just got the just right balance. And, most of them, I kind of wear my philosophies and my political views on my shoulder a little bit. So another piece of advice to new players, if you're a conservative and you want to make friends in this community, just don't make it known. Just kind of downplay it, keep it under wraps, because you're going to catch a lot of shit for being kind of more of a, I'm more of like a God-fearing, patriotic type, so that's the reason. It's not even my character or anything. I think I'm a pretty nice guy, an easy guy to get along with. Most of the community just hates me because of my political views, but that's a whole other topic.
That's some episode 2 topics.
Yeah,
that we're
shout
gonna
out
go
to
over.
all my haters. You guys keep me amused, and I love it. I love it.
Oh, we love it too, and so do the listeners at home. Ivan, you got anything else for us, brother?
Yeah, man. Just wanted to say thank you, Joy, for coming on board.
For sure. Thank you.
I'm sure the audience is going to love this episode. And if you guys have any questions or comments that you guys want to see on the next episode when we're going to have them, just feel free to send it to Ken or put it up on our YouTube. We always appreciate you guys' support.
Absolutely. And one thing that you guys may not be aware of is that, Joe, you still have a Twitch channel, right?
I do. Yeah. I don't do a whole lot special on there.
Okay.
I just, because, Tong G likes to tell tall tales when we play. So it's mostly, I just stream every time I play with him for transparency. So you can't lie. You can't lie about what happened, brother. But, I might start doing more things. I might do like some coaching sessions through there maybe, or hosting. One thing I really wanted to run, maybe I might partner with Brett for a random pairing 2v2 tournament.
Nice.
I always wanted to do something like that. We did that
Nice.
one time. It's super fun. I might do an event like that. So yeah.
Right on. We'll drop the link in the description, so that way you guys can make sure that you guys go follow and subscribe, and stay tuned for all that content that he's going to pump out. Other than that, we're going to pick things up next time when we bring Joey Bal back. There's a lot more to cover, man. If you thought this episode was deep, dude, you ain't seen nothing yet, bro. Wait till the next one. All right. Shout outs to all of our listeners, all of our supporters. Thank you guys for continuing to listen, continuing to support. Keep an eye out for that release as it comes out, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out, guys.
Later.
That's it, man.
Ooh, yeah. Dude. Yeah, there's a lot there, dude. Thank you.
That was a great episode, man. That was a great episode, brother.